Welcome back to the Moneyline Madness podcast, episode 62. I'm AndyB. I'm here with Matt. You know us by now. I don't know why we introduce this every day, but we're back
We're
after a
back.
really rough night last night, I would say.
Man, we were having so much positivity yesterday. Weren't we still talking about how New York was running baseball? Everything was dandy just yesterday.
Yeah.
Just yesterday. It
Yeah.
felt all good in the world, and then today, after two just awful losses from both the Yankees and Mets, things just it's not
Yeah.
feeling good. Not feeling good right now,
Yeah.
especially as a Yankees fan. I mean, the Mets struggled one game. So that's whatever. But as a Yankee fan, it's been really rough out here.
Yeah.
What's going on, Hope you're having a good morning, bro.
Yeah. I said it before we started. I'm a little concerned about the Yankees now. I think they are showing a lot of similarities to the team that the Mets had last year that just fell off a cliff. Granted, they're a little bit better pitching wise because they're healthy, but man, I mean, they're not hitting anything right now, and it's not like they're facing an ace every day. I mean, they're just not.
I mean,
hitting
Ryan
anybody.
Yarbrough is nothing to sniff at because he's been really solid, but I just don't think that you could come out and get shut
Yeah,
out like
but
that.
the night before they got shut down by Michael Waka. So I mean, to be fair, it has similarities. I'm not saying that they're not going to win any more games and they're not going to the playoffs. They've given themselves such a good lead, and honestly, nobody is chasing them right now. Every week,
they're
every night
complacent.
every night you see the Blue Jays or Rays are losing a game. Obviously not last night. That
Yep.
they're still a 10-game lead, and it doesn't make any sense to me. They're 2-10, and they
Yeah.
still have a 10-game lead. I mean, that's
Yeah. Yep. And Dev comments a little bit of goats right there. What's going on, Dev? Hope you're also having a good morning. But yeah, it's been rough the past 2 weeks as a Yankee fan. Sure, you can equate it to DJ LeMahieu getting hurt, Matt Carpenter getting hurt, Anthony Rizzo dealing with an injury, and then Giancarlo Stanton, and that's not even touching on the bullpen, being banged up. But at the end of the day, you still got to come out and compete and try to find a way to win baseball games, and they haven't been doing that the past couple nights, and that it's getting a little bit concerning because the only guy showing up is Aaron Judge. And I mean, that's expected, but we got to do something. We got to put together something if you want to, play in the playoffs the way that you've been doing. I mean, because right now, Yankees going to a playoff series. I don't know about like any other Yankee fan out there, but I don't have much confidence throwing out, a Severino who's coming off of a 60-day IL.
Yeah.
I got to rely on him to come out and win me, my second playoff game potentially.
Well, the MLB did something, and the Mets broadcasters brought it up last night. They really screwed some teams over. So usually the way that the playoff series will go is you'll play home, away, travel day. In between the traveling, you get a day off. So it helps your pitchers. Now, you don't get a travel day. So you're playing games 3 days in a row. And that's really going to mess up bullpens, but it's also going to mess up starting rotations. The cool thing about the playoffs always used to be you put your rotation down to 4, and you go with that.
Yeah.
Now teams are going to have 5-man rotations, which means a team like the Yankees would have had
just
to start
traded away
Jordan Montgomery. They would have had to start him because they're going to need a 5-starter. There's some teams that benefits. There's some teams that doesn't benefit. I think. And from my team's perspective, it benefits us as long as we're not playing the Braves, because Taijuan Walker against the Braves is a very scary sight. But other than that, like, he's great. So it benefits them. But for the Yankees, you traded away Jordan Montgomery because, hey, we don't need a 5-starter in the playoffs. Well, now you do.
Now you do badly.
A bullpen, which they lost Michael King, which hurt them. So
that was a ridiculous type of hurt, too.
Yeah.
And now not only Michael King, that injury, but then you have Clay Holmes, who's just been collapsing.
Which
the fact that
was somewhat
Chapman,
expected, to be
I
honest.
mean, sure, collapsing to the point that he has? No. I mean, I didn't expect him to stay Mariano Rivera 2.0 for the second half of the season. Like a decline was slightly expected, but to come out and just shit your pants.
Quicker. Yeah, it happened a little quicker than I expected, but I definitely didn't expect him to be that. I mean, to be fair, he had a couple months of success in his major league career, and now
what's going on, Sima? How we doing?
Kind of falling back. But
it's just it's a fall off, but nobody expected Aroldis Chapman to come out. I mean, it's just two polar opposites, right? Aroldis Chapman looked awful for the past year,
Yeah.
year of just playing baseball as a professional. You look terrible at your job. Then all of a sudden, post All-Star break comes, and the guy who everybody thought was taking your spot is completely shitting himself. And then Aroldis comes out 8 straight scoreless appearances, and a few of those being more than 1 inning appearances, which is unheard of for Aroldis.
For a guy who used to be a closer, it's
so
definitely
it's
unheard of.
It's weird. It's really weird right now. I don't even think I think a big problem is I don't know if Aaron Boone even knows what's going on in the Bronx. Like, I feel like I've never looked at him as like, Aaron Boone, he's the type of coach that's really, he's going to lead your team. Yeah. I've never given him that type of appraisal, but I don't think he's a dumbass. I mean, I think he sees what's going on. I just don't think he knows what to do.
Well, it's a situation I don't think he's ever been through before as a manager. I mean, it's very tough when you're young. I mean, he's not necessarily young in experience, but he is still young. To go through kind of the beginning of a collapse and try to make it not a collapse, right? Like, it's very difficult. I've seen it before, obviously. Being a Mets fan, I've seen the Mets collapse multiple times, and it's not fun, but it definitely is. It has the makings of it, but they just have to figure out how to fix it. Obviously, they have injuries, but are any of those guys coming back next week?
I was going to say, come September, things like have to be different. I'm giving them, and they're lucky they had such a good first half of the season, or else, other teams, like you said, would be on that ass very quick. We're lucky that the Blue Jays are still sitting complacent, losing games to the Orioles. Like, we're very lucky for that. So the Yankees get to sit back and kind of relax while everyone else is still stressing for these spots.
Yeah. The Blue Jays division hopes, if they weren't already dead, they died last night. You've got to take advantage. You're playing. I get it. The Orioles are great, but
I was going to say, let's respect Baltimore this year, man. Yeah, the Orioles are showing out. They got some young kids. Yeah. Really, I really like George Mateo, former Yankee prospect, who's been having a really good season for himself.
Yeah, but you were built to be a lot better than the Orioles, and now you're going to lose to them a day the Yankees lose. That's
I think early like Moneyline Madness days, I think I came on here once, or I at least know I said it to you and S-word, that I thought the Blue Jays were better than the Yankees at the time going into the season. I thought they were a better team.
I thought they were far better. And they have no pitching. I mean, they did a terrible. They have the guy you love to bet on, Yusei Kikuchi, who is by far the worst qualified pitcher in baseball. I don't know.
Can we please respect him? Please respect him.
The Mets
he respected my money like twice. I think he won me 2 bets, and that was really the day.
I remember the same day. My brother followed you too. He was like, "I'm gonna take what Matt took." You say Kikuchi. I trust that. I was like, "You're dumb." I thought Matt was dumb. I think you're dumb. And lo and behold, I think he gave up like 5 runs in the second inning.
He did that day. He did. Well, we took his strikeout prop, and he ended up. It was 4.5 that day, right? And he ended up with 4. So it is what it is. But I really can't say much about the AL East right now. There really isn't much else to say. The Yankees are just going to keep doing what they're doing. I mean, I don't anticipate them, stinking to the extent that they have the past few days, but I also don't expect them to just, snap a finger and all of a sudden be back to the team that they were.
Schedule does not lighten up, though.
No, it doesn't, and that's the difference. The Mets got to play a month and a half at home throughout July and the beginning of August, and the Yankees don't exactly have that same luxury coming up in this next month.
Oh, if you go look at the Mets schedule the next week, it's road and tough.
Yeah, like I said, you guys have been home. Next week. You guys have been home so much. Like it's time for you guys to get a little bit of a travel bug in. But hey, that doesn't say that the Mets aren't going to come out and perform, because when you got a pitching staff like that, it makes things a lot easier on your lineup.
The next week will literally be it, though, because they'll play. I can give you like the quick rundown. They play the Braves, Phillies, Yankees, Rockies, then Dodgers, and then it gets. When I say easy, I mean there's only a few teams in baseball that are easy, like definitely easy, and they play all of them in 1 month. Like
Reds, Pirates.
No, they're done with the Reds. They play the Cubs, Pirates, Cubs again. Pirates again.
Nice.
The only team with a winning record they play in September is the Brewers, who are a borderline playoff team.
I know he's listening right now too, and just the SEMO victory laps after you guys like sweep the Pirates and then Cubs back to back is
Well,
just going to be gross.
I
I don't want to hear it. I'm telling you right now. I don't want to hear victory laps for beating bad teams. I don't want to hear it.
I was looking, and as long as they get through this stretch with still a lead in the division, around mid-September they should be clinching this division. They could be clinching a playoff spot at least. Like it should be early, so there shouldn't be much worrying.
Yeah. Well, for the Mets, 2 weeks from now, what you're just looking at, just keep cruising, keep doing your thing, and beat up on those bad teams. And then the Yankees standpoint, the next 2 weeks is get Luis Severino fully healthy. He's throwing a baseball as of yesterday.
More importantly, let's start hitting the ball. Right?
And then getting Harrison Bader back 2 weeks from now is going to be very important. Getting Matt Carpenter back 2 weeks from now, very important, because Aaron Hicks cannot see the field. Cannot see the field. I don't care did you tap into that game last night at all? Aaron Hicks was the main reason
I saw that
game.
I saw that.
Not only the pop-up, but then so it stinks because I actually don't dislike Aaron Hicks entirely, but the pop-up obviously cost us a run and that inning entirely. Then he comes up, bases loaded, or first and second, no outs. What does he do? Grounds into a double play. Just absolutely deflates the inning. Then he comes up again later in the same spot, strikes out looking. And the people just booed the shit out of him in the Bronx last night. And I mean, it is his fault. It's just he was put in a bad spot. And like I was sitting there watching the game with my dad, and we both said, we were like, Aaron Hicks, of course, like the guy, they're just gonna kick him while he's down. It was just meant to be that it wasn't his night. And honestly, when Carpenter's back, when Bader's back, when Stanton's back, Aaron Hicks isn't going to see the field. So I'm not really worried about it too much in that context. In
sports, I feel like you almost wish you could keep contracts private, if you know what I mean. Like, because for him, that's why he's getting booed, right? Like if he's a guy making $1.5 million a year, not under contract next year, he doesn't get booed like that. Marwin Gonzalez is terrible. Every time he hits, he doesn't strike. When he strikes out, he doesn't get booed. Why? Because he doesn't have a 7-year contract that pays him $10 million a year, right? It's the same thing that happened with Lindor last year. He was getting booed because he made a lot of money. That's just how it works. And you almost wish you could keep it private. It's maybe the thing I hate most about baseball fans is we can't get a guy's contract away from him. We have to always
you can't
bring
separate it. But then again, hey, you got to. If you want the big bucks, you got to fucking perform. And if you want to play in New York on a 7-year contract, you got to understand that that's going to come with a cost. That's New York fans.
Aaron Hicks was never built to be here. I never understood the trade. He was never built to be he was in Minnesota. He was a decent player there.
His first 2 years, 3 years, like one injury season aside, he was solid with the Yankees. He won us a couple games. That 2017 team with Todd. He was a great piece of that. So.
Somebody tweeted at Todd yesterday if he would come back and play third base for the Mets for a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah? What'd he say?
I don't know if he answered. I'm going to be honest. I'd be in. I watched Eduardo Escobar yesterday. He can't move.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Simo says victory laps comes when busting good teams' ass. That's a fact. And he said, like, the Braves, Phillies, and Yankees. That's a fact. So if you guys come in next week and you're shitting on. Last night obviously didn't go well against the Braves, but if you come back in this series, it's only 1-0. But if you come back and take this series, take the Phillies and take the Yankees series, then sure, victory laps are all yours. And right now, if you're a Mets fan, what better time to have a matchup against the Yankees when they're already down and you could not only beat them while they're down, but then make fun of all their fans as well.
Yeah. Also, if you're a Yankee fan, I would recommend not looking at the pitching probables for that series either.
Yeah, because
you're getting Scherzer, DeGrom.
Well, that's a given. It's the World Series for you guys, sure.
Well, no. It just lines up that way because they can pitch against the Braves and they can pitch against you. I knew you were gonna say that. I knew it was gonna.
I gotta keep something in my back.
and it allows Scherzer to pitch against the Dodgers, so that's why you do it.
Yeah, I'm sure they're giving him an extra 4 days rest to line him up, really make sure everything is good. So
sorry, we don't want Max Scherzer pitching against the Colorado Rockies. We'd prefer him to pitch against the Dodgers.
But hey, speaking of Yankees, speaking of the Mets, we got a couple picks for you guys tonight. We're not just here to sit and chat our balls off. As fun as it is, I got some picks tonight, and these ones that I'm looking at right now are they've been so free. I can't get enough of the picks that I have on this slate. First one, being Aaron Judge, 2 bags. Something simple. I mean, I didn't take this one yesterday. Ironically enough, he didn't hit this one yesterday. But the night before we took it, guess what? Cashed out, easy money. So we're going right back to it. Aaron Judge, give me 2 bags plus money at plus 115. I'm liking that all day, man. I mean, I have the same thing down. Manny Machado, 2 bags as well. And for guys like that who are both obviously heavy MVP race candidates, Aaron Judge being a favorite in the American League, Manny Machado top 3 in the National League, for them both to be at plus money for 2 bags, I just am all over. I really like those. Manny Machado had 2 hits last night in a game where Sandy Alcantara absolutely shut down the rest of the Padres offense. So they're going to, I'm not really intimidated tonight when, he's coming out against a lesser talent, a much, much lesser talent. So Manny Machado, 2 bags for plus 100. Aaron Judge, 2 bags for plus 115. We're going to be riding those ones into the sun tonight.
Yeah, I like those. Pretty much every time you bring up Manny Machado hits, so I don't even have to.
Bro, he's hit 308 right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's so nuts. I really just.
He has to now, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, Tatis just full of juice and stuff like that,
So much juice. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with a really safe one. Yesterday it actually didn't hit, but tonight Phillies in Cincinnati, a team that hits a lot of home runs in Cincinnati should score 10 to 15 runs every game. They're facing TJ Zook. I know that name because Zook is his name. TJ Zook. So I know that name because he pitched against the Mets last week and he was terrible. He has a 13.50 ERA and 1 start. So he was very bad. A lot of hard contact against a team that hits a lot of home runs. So I got the Phillies minus 1.5. They got Kyle Gibson on the mound. As long as it's not Syndergaard, I'm taking the Phillies. So
yeah, right. Yeah, as long as it ain't Noah. I mean, and even then, Noah, he looked like.
Well, Noah's the reason. Noah went. I think Noah went 6 yesterday. Gave up 3.
Yeah, no, he didn't look awful, but he didn't look great. Like we said, when he's not expected to be a number 1 or 2, it's not too bad. Not too bad of a situation. I want to say now that we have a couple more people watching, I want to bring back up the Fernando Tatis thing, just being that it's so ridiculous, and maybe we could get a couple comments also giving their opinions on this. But an 80-game suspension, right?
Yeah.
For a guy that takes PEDs, right? The face of baseball. What do you think the conversation is behind closed doors between Juan Soto and Fernando Tatis right now?
Between those two?
Yeah.
Well, for Soto, it's kind of like,
what the fuck?
I think add the Padres into that. I know the Padres would never do it, but if I was the Padres, I'd consider trying to get out of his contract. I don't know if they legally can do that. I doubt it. But I would give
Soto
all
or Tatis.
No, Tatis. I would give all of Tatis's money to Soto. Honestly, like, he's a better face of your team now. He doesn't have that behind him. He's a better player. I don't think anybody questions that. And I know he's not a homegrown guy. I mean, Tatis barely is anyway too. But I mean, Tatis is kind of proven time and time again he doesn't.
He's unreliable.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only way to put it.
I still can't get past Robbie Cano. Like that, I just laugh about it every time that I mention it. And if you guys didn't see, we talked about it yesterday, but Robbie Cano puts out a tweet, and it's literally, it's so funny because I can imagine Robbie Cano, like, he's so oblivious too, and he's just sitting at his like computer, his laptop, whatever, just overly emotional, maybe even shedding a tear, just like, Fernando, you broke my trust. You broke the trust of like the Dominican Republic, and we're never going to be able to forgive you, and this is going to take a lot. And meanwhile, Robbie Cano is sitting in the back of fucking a local LA Fitness, stabbing himself in the arm with as much HGH as he could find.
They were on the same team for a couple of weeks, and everybody was saying he had a very good impact on the Padres locker room. This was the impact clearly. He had.
He left them some fucking multivitamins. Am I right? Like, come on, dude. It's ridiculous. Like, I just can't get over the fact that a guy like Tatis is doing PEDs, in that sense, being that he hasn't played at all. Maybe it was to help him recover. Who knows? I would hope if in that case, maybe just trying to get on the field. But to then come out and lie about it too.
You also have to understand, like, why is he not on the field? Because he was selfish and he did something he shouldn't have done, riding a motorcycle. I know that sounds like a normal life thing to all of us. I mean, I would never ride one, but I know that sounds like a normal life thing. you can't do that if you're a baseball player. There's too much on the line here. So
Yep. Yeah.
that's
No,
on him.
seriously.
I mean,
Do you
in
think that?
reality, it's sad for the Padres, but they did make their own bed with it. Why would you sign a guy that young to a 13-year deal? Things can always happen. They did it.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. You committed for the long term. You locked in. You know, you cuffed a hoe essentially. You know,
You did.
you really did. You cuffed a hoe,
Made
and
it a
you're
wife, too.
facing you wifed up a hoe, and you're facing the rebuttal for it. Just
Yep.
nasty business. Now, do you think that they made those moves at the deadline in anticipation of Tatis being suspended? You think they had
No,
any
they had no
intel?
idea. I guarantee you they had no idea because honestly, I don't know if they go and get Juan Soto in that case because I don't think they're a World Series contender this year now. I don't know. Their lineup is great, but they didn't have the team to begin with when they got Soto until they got Tatis. There's still holes in their lineup. Like a shortstop, that's a hole still now. I mean, they've got Jerks and Profar playing every day. How's that going to go in the playoff? Like, they have too many holes. I mean, you look at the best teams in the NL. There's not a hole in the Braves lineup. There's not a hole in the Mets lineup. It's not a well, there is, but that's James McCann. There's not a hole in the Dodgers lineup, but there's holes in the Padres lineup. So they kind of got screwed over by Tatis on that one.
Yeah, they did. And if you want to keep it in the National League, we could talk Dodgers while we're here because I know I got Dodgers props tonight.
Yeah,
and they're just they're the best. They're simply the best, and it's getting
80
to a point,
wins.
I don't even hate them, you know, like I don't even dislike them because they're just literally a powerhouse, and you can't like hating on them is not going to do anything for you. You know, preying on the downfall of the Dodgers never works out because they're just monsters.
Yeah, I'm not hating on them either. I'm just waiting on them.
Yeah,
waiting on them for the playoffs.
Yeah, pretty much. That's all you can do is just like sit back and just wait. So tonight though, they are going up against the Brewers, and after last night, I mean, I still think the Dodgers are clearly the best team in baseball. They're coming in as an underdog, which is kind of crazy to me. AndyB had said because the Brewers got Woodruff on the mound. I understand the angle, but when you got a powerhouse of a lineup like the Dodgers, it's hard to not side with them. So I'm going to be siding with the Dodgers, obviously, tonight, taking their money line at plus 104. I feel
have
like
the
plus
same
money
thing.
for the best team in baseball. You can't go wrong. You really can't. And then as well, I'm going to be taking Freddie Freeman, 2 bags, plus 115 in itself. Freeman last night had 3 hits. He's nails. You know, he's nails,
actually, I think, tied for the doubles lead.
Is he? Really?
I think they said that on SMY last night. So there you go. There's 2 bags right there.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, I'll take it any day of the week. And 2 bags is just so easy when you have a lineup like that, allowing you to get up 5 times in a game. 2 bags is not, anything too far fetched. So Freddie Freeman, 2 bags at plus 115. Dodgers money line at plus 104. Throw them together for a little parlay, plus 263. I mean, I'm just all over these plus money picks.
Yeah, I think I don't understand. I get why they put them at plus money. I still wouldn't do it. They should never be plus money ever again.
Yep.
This team.
So we'll take it while it's here. Absolutely, jump on that one while it's here.
Yeah.
I know you had a little bit of a pick for the American League rivals of the Yanks, the Houston Astros. I know you're dialing in on there. Yeah, let me hear.
That is the best game tonight. I mean, Verlander against Dylan Cease. I think it happened earlier in the year too, because I think I actually had the same thing on my bet slip.
Oh yeah.
I'm taking both Justin Verlander and Dylan Cease over 6.5 strikeouts. I mean, Verlander. What else can you say? He's
just
almost
defeating
40.
Father Time. Like it's Tom Brady-esque, literally. The guy, and it's honestly even, I don't know if I'd go to the extent of saying more, impressive than Brady.
No, it's not.
But
impressive.
the part that really is just shocking to me is not only is the guy 40 still slinging the rock at a Cy Young level, but he just is 2 removed years from Tommy John. That's supposed to be something that, changes the course of your life. And he's coming out and still throwing Cy Young type of innings for a highly touted contending team.
Yeah, and the thing is with Verlander, other than that Brady never had, Brady was hurt, yes, but he never played poorly. Like he's always had great seasons when he's on the field. The end of his time in Detroit, Verlander was like bad. I think he had like a 4 ERA. Like he was very bad in comparison to who he is now, and he kind of resurrected his career, and now he has a
Some sticky
185.
stuff,
And
Kate
Dylan,
Upton's
yeah.
Yams, that helps.
Well, and Dylan Cease has a 196. So you got two guys below 2 pitching tonight. So that's why I got all their strikeouts. So
Nice. So you said JV 6.5 Ks for the
and Dylan Cease.
and
Both
Dylan
of them.
Cease.
Both of them.
Nice. And I also like Justin Verlander over 6.5 strikeouts tonight. That sits at plus 102 in itself.
Yeah.
I also like the Astros to go ahead and win this game.
Oh yeah.
Playing the White Sox, just, JV on the mound, they never lose with Justin Verlander. I don't have the exact
15 and
statistic,
3.
but they're 18-3 with JV on the mound.
15-3 is his record. I'd assume there's some wins in there too.
Yeah, I'd assume there's something that he didn't get credit for or something like that. But, Astros money line coming in at minus 126. You take the money line and Verlander strikeouts, and you're sitting at plus 213. And, plus money for not only the Astros, but the Dodgers as well. Those are two of the best teams in baseball, and we're getting insane value on. So really just trying to juice the most out of that as we can, make the most money as possible.
Yes, sir. Always. I'm gonna head over to your game. Why not?
Yeah.
I've got Rays money line. When a team is down and, like I said, possibly in a collapse, and then they have to go against a guy like Springs, who is very confusing and very tough on good teams a lot. And just the Rays in general, they're a very scrappy team. I mean, they almost do a perfect game on Sunday. They're kind of flying under the radar again. I'm going with them. I mean, I'm going with the Rays. The Yankees are just for right now. The Yankees got to prove that they're back. Otherwise, they're just going to be this team for.
That's why I'm taking Judge 2 bags and I'm keeping it at that. If there's one guy that I could rely on, I know it's Aaron Judge.
Yeah, that's really all I had to say on that game. I mean, at this point, I said what I said. The Yankees are mid-collapse until they prove they're not.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And everybody else in the AL East is just licking, besides the Blue Jays, are just licking their chops. I unfortunately have a Red Sox pick tonight. It's getting that bad out here.
I had this. I was tailing this with you.
Yep, Red Sox money line tonight at minus 142. They're coming out and they're trying to compete. They're trying to sneak in a wild card spot. And last night they performed, obviously, picking up a dub last night. And so I'm going to be right back at them going. They're up against the Pirates tonight. I mean, it just doesn't. It's the Pirates.
Yeah, it is the Pirates. Pirates suck.
Pirates stink. And like I said, the Red Sox are trying to sneak their way in after having a better series against the Yanks and beating us in their last game. Coming off of a dub. They're trying to keep that momentum rolling, and what better way than playing the worst team in baseball? So, money line at what was that? Minus 142. I'm taking that one all day.
Yeah, why not? It's an easy one. That doesn't get. I mean, it gets easier, but it doesn't get much easier when you're the Red Sox. I mean, they need to win every game too. So.
Yeah. Yep. And sitting at 2 games under 500, you would think that this would be the time for them to get right and go up.
It's crazy. They're 5 games back from a wild card spot. I thought for sure Boston was a playoff team this year.
Yeah, they should be, truthfully, on paper, but their pitching has just collapsed incredibly. They don't have, Chris Sale, the guy, you sneeze on him and the guy's out for 2 seasons. All of a sudden, we're not even talking about, you sneeze on Chris Sale and he just gets announced out for the 2024 regular season. Like, it's that bad for him out here.
Yeah, unfortunate for them. I know that.
I couldn't.
Well, I know you have a. I'd feel the same way if you were talking about the Braves. So
cool.
I feel what you're saying.
Glad we're on the same page. Well, I think that's gonna wrap us up for today. I don't know if you got any more picks up your sleeve.
No, I'm good. I'm hopeful. I didn't have a pick for the Mets today because I'm very. This game feels very nerve-wracking for me because they might go down 2-0 in this series tonight. I don't know how confident I am in Taijuan Walker against this team. He just gave up 8 runs in 2 innings to this very team.
Yeah, no, it's especially coming off of a game like last night. The last thing you want almost is Taijuan Walker on the mound for you tonight. But
yep,
it is what it is. I'm gonna be tapped in on that game, honestly.
Oh yeah,
it's the Mets are honestly more entertaining, from a baseball standpoint. That's a more entertaining game than the Yankees Rays. So definitely gonna be tapped in on that. Yeah, for anybody that missed our hammers for today. You could find them also on the mosports Discord. We're gonna be posting them up on there. Yeah, that's gonna wrap us up for today.
Good episode, nice episode.
Yes,
nice
sir.
30 minutes.
Yeah, hitting the 30-minute mark just precisely. We're getting to be experts out here. So without further ado, Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This has been Moneyline Madness, episode 62. Don't forget to follow us on social medias at ML Madness Pod, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace.
Let's go.